We learned today that Jack Smith, the special counsel investigating Donald Trump, has now subpoenaed Georgia's Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger. You may remember Raffensperger for being on the receiving end of this infamous phone call.
So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
This subpoena makes Georgia the fifth state where Smith has subpoenaed local officials for communications involving Trump in the effort to overturn the 2020 election. Joining me now is Joyce Vance, former U.S. attorney, professor at the University of Alabama School of Law, and co-host of the Insider podcast. Always great to see you, Joyce. Let's go through this. So this subpoena, I understand, is it's asking Raffensperger for documents, not testimony in person. It was dated December 9th, but his lawyers got it yesterday. My notes here say they're weighing options. Can you weigh options with a federal subpoena? Don't you just have to respond to it?
Right. He doesn't have a lot of options to weigh. It's either turn the documents over or face the consequences of not doing that. This is a typical sort of a request from DOJ. Often they want to see the documents before they decide whether there's any reason to put a witness, himself or herself, in front of the grand jury.
Is that you? I'm going to quote somebody that you know, Preet Bharara, who you worked with at Justice. He said this on Meet the Press with regard to whether Trump will ever be charged. He said, I don't think the legal team would have left their former positions, both in government and private practice, unless there was a serious possibility that the Justice Department was on a path to charge. And I think it will happen in a month. You guys were U.S. attorneys together. What do you make of that, and do you agree?
You know, I do agree. Preet is saying that there's a serious path for DOJ to charge in this case. And based on the publicly available evidence, I think that that's abundantly clear. Might DOJ internally have information that we're not aware of that could make it difficult or impossible to charge the former president? That's always something that you have to think about in an investigation. But to Preet's point here, you've got two very serious people with prosecutive chops who've left their jobs to join the special counsel's team. People don't do that unless there is, as he says, a serious path to prosecution. And I think we'll see this come to a head early in the new year.
On which thing? Because Jack Smith is investigating both the theft of the documents, which to me has always seemed like the most glaring and obvious one. I mean, he had the documents, admitted he had them. He said, these documents are mine. They were in his house. They're now searching other properties to see if he has more. He didn't give them back when he was told to give them back. It's like, it seems pretty open and shut. And then there is this other thing for which the subpoenas went out, the January 6th investigation. Which of those two, in your mind, seems more likely to yield charges if charges ever happen?
Right. I think your assessment is absolutely correct. The Mar-a-Lago documents case is much more of a straight line. The only real outstanding issue is what level of involvement did Trump have in taking the documents, sending the documents to Mar-a-Lago and perhaps elsewhere. Those are the sort of details that the special counsel is undoubtedly trying to nail down. The January 6th investigation has always been bigger, bulkier, and much more difficult of a lift because of the issues of intent and knowledge that will have to be established there before the former president can be charged.
And you know, for those who watch Law and Order, it looks like in an hour you get charged with stuff. It actually doesn't work that way. And I think one of the things that people are learning is that it's not Law and Order, right? It takes time. So for those who are just impatient, please explain why it takes so long to consider charging somebody with a crime like these potentially too.
You know, Joy, that's so funny. I literally was writing those same words over the weekend, that we're a country that's very used to law and order. I watched it incessantly when I was on maternity leave. And the formula is so appealing. 15 minutes for the investigation, 15 minutes for the trial. Most of the time you get a conviction. And the reality is that that's just not how it works in the real world. There are a lot of details. The government bears the burden of proving guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, and that is a very serious burden of proof.
Yeah, so you have to have a little patience, everybody. It's not Law and Order. Even though Law and Order is cool, that's not the real world. Joyce Vance, thank you very much. Really appreciate you as always. Okay.